to say that's a lovely evening. Let's say it's a gorgeous evening, because it is nice. I'm thinking, here's something. 1759, Romeo and Juliet. That's the very first production. It's probably the most famous love story of all time. So, was there any kind of trepidation or any kind of worry when you're taking on two of the biggest roles in history?
I mean, they're fairly popular roles, and with Romeo and Juliet, I feel like a lot of the time you aren't actually thinking about the characters. This might just be because we're students and stuff, so we have to study it in school.
Right.
But I feel like you're more so studying William Shakespeare, about why he did that with the characters and stuff, rather than the actual characters.
Right.
So, but like, this opportunity gets us to think more about the actual characters. And
so, before I get to you, Katie, because you know this, you're assistant director this time, but you did the production in 2019. But I'm just thinking, for you, Lucy, coming to it as a sort of, fairly new experience, I would imagine, doing the role. Yeah. Did you go jumping into all the films? Did you just rely on Kieran and Katie's direction? I don't know where you kind of made your map for this.
No, I looked at a lot of productions online, and I was looking at the National Theatre one that they did with Jessie Buckley as the Juliet. So I got a lot of inspiration from her, and then of course like Katie and Kieran, their notes are really good and stuff like that. So kind of just.
And for you, Katie, would there be a big difference now? Is this production part of the appeal, that you can maybe try it a little bit differently? Is it that you want to be true to the original all the time, or?
I think part of it's nice to kind of stick to the original. I know the last one that we did, that I was in, we kind of veered off at the end and changed it up a little bit. So I think sticking to the original, it's kind of nice to give them the opportunity at this age to do something so dramatic and kind of throw themselves into it.
Well, it was very brave with Julia Verona. Everyone suddenly had a gun and everyone shot each other at the end. That was it was an interesting move. I hadn't expected it, really. So, when it comes to making waves, here's, when we last spoke, it was like 8 or 10 people were involved. It's over 40 now. There's a waiting list. Yeah. That must feel great, especially for somebody who's been there, through the years, to sort of see that kind of, appetite out there for people who want to do this. And yeah, it must feel good.
It really is amazing, and it's amazing that there's such a big group of young, talented people that like to throw themselves into their work and like to put themselves in the dramatics and enjoy it, and are so open to direction and doing work. And it's lovely to see how much it's grown, and how much of a little community it kind of is now.
Right. It is about exposing yourself, really, even though you're playing a role, and some actors love the fact that it isn't them. Like Robert De Niro is famously quite a mannequin, really, off screen. He just likes to become somebody. For you guys, I don't know if it's just fun, whether there's a little bit of soul searching going on. I don't know what the big kind of draw is for you when it comes to acting.
Well, I just like to, I feel like it's a bit of an escape, I guess.
Right.
Not to make it sound too depressing and stuff. Just kind of get to be somebody else for a while.
Right.
Because like, you're living your life and you're in school and stuff, but then when you're in there, you get to be somebody else and kind of try to think how that person would act in a different situation.
Well, that channeling of other people, I don't know for you, Lucy, that if there's just a I don't know if it feels like it's all joy, or whether you realise, oh, this is actually a lot of work too. Like, it isn't just I'll pretend and everything's fine. I actually have to figure out all the different rhythms and techniques and how we get from one place to another.
Yeah, I think it's also like you learn a lot about yourself as well when you're acting, and I don't know, it's always good to, sort of analyse other people, and I don't know, I just have a big interest in, looking at the behaviour of other people, so I think kind of channeling like other people as well kind of helps to, get into the character. And
I was going to say, well, you, Katie, I know back in 2019 you pretty much knew you'd like to keep doing this, whereas Reuben, being a very flighty young man, he didn't know what he was going to. I think he's in jail now, or so, I forget where exactly, but that idea that it is a commitment of a different sort. It's not like there's any great money to be made, or it's only like 0.0001% make a good living from acting. So it really has to be something that you genuinely have a great love for, as opposed to it's a smart career.
I think it's kind of amazing to have young people get the opportunity to pull into this passion as well, because it is sometimes a kind of break from being yourself and a break from school, but also to be able to do it in a community-based setting rather than a school setting, it really doesn't feel like something that can be tested, and more so something they get to put themselves into.
Right. So have you two, just to wrap up, I don't know if you've learned anything about the mysterious world of love, the idea that we do give ourselves over to somebody else and we've no idea what's going on, we've no control over our emotions. Has that been good for you?
Yeah.
That's good to know. At least you've tapped into the richness of love itself. But this is coming. The dates again are towards the end of March.
Yeah, it's February.
Oh, February. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
The 23rd to the 25th.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Just making sure you knew, because I knew in my head. I just making sure. Beautiful.